lot of times when I teach seventh chords, I find myself using the terms drop 2 and drop 3 a lot. You'll find that a lot of jazz guitar players will use the terms drop 2 and drop 3 a lot. So one thing that must come up is, what does the terms drop 2 and drop 3 mean? So in this video, I'm hoping to explain how it works and why things are organized the way that they are, and hopefully it helps. Well, the basic idea behind drop 2 and drop 3. Drop 2 and drop 3 originated as an arranger's technique back in the 1930s and 1940s as a way of spreading out chord tones. So if a sax section was going to play a chord, let's say a C7th chord, C, E, G, B flat. Well, a standard sax section in a big band would contain 2 alto saxes, 2 tenor saxes, and a baritone sax. Well, with the ranges of those instruments, if the alto sax players were playing in a comfortable range in their instruments, then the tenor saxes and the baritone saxes were straining to play the high end of their pitches. And conversely, if the tenor sax or baritone sax were playing in comfortable ranges, then the alto saxes would be playing at the lowest end of their ranges in order to get all the chord tones next to everybody else. So what arrangers started doing was looking for ways to just spread the notes out so you get all the notes in the chord, but in the range that the sax player would be able to play. So that's how arrangers came up with what was called the drop 2 technique and the drop 3 technique. Now, to explain the mechanics of drop 2 and drop 3, I could explain it on guitar, but it would really take a long time and really doesn't illustrate it very well. So I'm going to switch to a piano view and show you the basics or the mechanics of how drop 2 and drop 3 work. Now, again, I'm not a piano player, so please excuse any of the lousy piano technique, but you'll see the basic idea. In order to best understand how drop 2 and drop 3 chord voicings work, you should probably first understand how inversions work. So those are probably best explained on piano. So I'm going to attempt to do that here. Keep in mind, I'm not a piano player, so some of the fingerings I use are going to be pretty awful, but the principles still apply. So if I start with a C7th chord, those notes are C, E, G, and B flat. So that's called C7 root position closed voiced, which closed voice just means that the voices, the notes in the chord are voiced as close together as possible. So C, E, G, B flat. That's C7th root position. So if I was going to invert that the first time, what I would do is take the C and put it up an octave. So now, instead of C, E, G, B flat, I've got E, G, B flat, C. So it's the same set of notes, it's just the C has been put up an octave. So C7 first inversion closed voiced. C7 second inversion closed voiced. Again, the lowest note goes up an octave. So now you've got G, B flat, C, E flat. Okay? And then C7 third inversion closed voiced. The G goes up an octave, and then you just play the remainder of the notes. B flat, C, E, E, and then G. So in each case, the lowest note goes up an octave. Root position, first inversion, second inversion, third inversion. Okay? So now, drop 2 is simply the process of taking the second note from the top of each closed voiced version and putting it down an octave. So you start with C7, root position, closed voiced. Take the second note from the top, which would be the G, put that down an octave, and then eliminate it from up here. So the result is, instead of this, you've got this. So closed voiced, drop 2. Closed voiced, closed voiced, drop 2. So C7 first inversion closed voiced, okay? So now I've got E, G, B flat, C, take the second note from the top, which is B flat, put it down an octave, eliminate it up here, and play this as a result. So closed voiced, drop 2, closed voiced, drop 2, okay? Second inversion, G, B flat, C, E, take the C, put it down an octave, there's drop 2, C7, so from bottom to top it's G, C, B flat, E. So closed voiced, drop 2. Okay? C7, third inversion closed voiced, second note from the top is an E, so that goes down an octave. So now you've got, there's your drop 2, C7 voicing. So E, B flat, C to G. So closed voiced, drop 2. So in order, C7, okay, okay, and then the next one is going to be, then the next one after that, okay, and then finally this becomes that. So I hope that's clear. Take the top note, second note from the top, and put it down an octave. Okay? Now, drop 3 is exactly the same idea, except instead of taking the second note from the top and dropping it an octave, you're going to take the third note from the top and drop it an octave. So here I've got C7, root position, closed voice. Okay, take the third note from the top, which is E, put that down an octave, right, just like that, yep, see? Okay, so there's there's C7 drop 3, here's first inversion, third note from the top is G, take that down an octave, okay, and then here's second inversion, take the third note from the top, drop in an octave, okay, and don't forget to eliminate it from the higher voice. And then finally, third inversion, take the third note from the top, drop it an octave. So the basic idea of drop 2 and drop 3 is to simply spread the notes out. So you get all the chord tones, but you're just basically just jumbling them up in different ways and spreading them out. Now, let's talk about that on guitar. Okay, now that you've seen drop 2 and drop 3 explained on piano, what I find useful is to take those drop 2 and drop 3 chord voicings and put them on guitar. As it happens, when you spread the notes out in a drop 3 or drop 2 technique, the fingerings end up being pretty playable on guitar and pretty convenient, reasonably convenient, I guess I would say. Now, if you try to play those same chords closed voice, then you're just stretching your fingers all over the place. So that's why guitar players tend to organize more complex voicings in drop 2 and drop 3 kind of ways. So on guitar, drop 2 chord voicings end up being on what I would call adjacent string sets. So an adjacent string set means a set of 4 strings that are all next to each other. So either 6, 5, 4, and 3, or 5, 4, 3, and 2, or 4, 3, 2, and 1. So you'll find that strings for drop 2, string sets 5, 4, 3, 2, and string set 4, 3, 2, 1 are the most commonly used for drop 2 chord voicings, while 6, 5, 4, 3 is occasionally used but not as often. So if I was to play C7, drop 2 chord voicings on string set I'll start here with string set 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to start with first inversion because it's the lowest chord voicing I can get on this string set. So then. Is pretty doable on that set of strings. String set 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, and then string set 6, 5, 4, 3. Showed you was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 different ways to play C7 and drop 2 chord voicing. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so 12 different ways to play the same chord. Okay, so as you can see, that offers you just a lot of flexibility, a lot of different ranges, a lot of different textures on the same group of 4 notes. Okay, now drop 3 is what I would call a split string set. So on guitar, drop 3 chord voicings tend to work out on one of 2 string sets. One would be 6, 4, 3, 2. 6, 4, 3, 2. Or 5, 3, 2, 1. 5, 3, 2, 1. Okay? So if I was to play C7 on string set 6, 4, 3, 2, here would be the lowest one. Then here's the next one. Then, okay, and then on string set 5, 3, 1, these are a little harder. Okay. Okay, so in all, that's 20 different ways you can play C7. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, then 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's a lot of different ways to play the same chord. So that's the basic idea, is that you just have a lot of different ways you could play the same thing. Now, take a C7 chord, change some of the notes within it, and it will give you different chord qualities, and then the list goes on and on and on. And of course, there's other ways to skin that cat. There's other ways to organize the notes besides drop 2 and 3. But that right there is a pretty big can of worms. So I hope that explains it. So on my True Fire channel, John Finn's Electric Guitar Mastery channel, I have several video clips of 7th chords and drop 2 string sets and drop 3 string sets. So that's the reason behind the terminology. I hope this is clear. Let me know if you have any questions.